new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBNradio.com.
A round of applause.
Except for us, it's wrong, and still putting my lipstick on.
I know, I'm barely
you put
to get
lipstick on.
I
You look
did.
really good.
I just put on lipstick. I like this one because it's not so dark, or maybe you think it's too dark.
The last time we did this, you said that the headphones flattened my hair. Is
It
that right?
did. It's not bad. Could you just there?
Thank
Nice.
you. Okay. Hi, I'm Dorothy Lucey.
And I'm Anna Garcia, and this is a very special radio show.
Were you waiting for me to say something?
I was
Okay.
actually.
Please continue.
No. I started it. You finished. It's a very
All
very
you
special,
said was, and this.
and this is a very special radio show about.
Mending Kids, which is a charity that I have worked with for many, many years, and I dragged Anna in because both of us have been on television in Los Angeles for too long to mention. And then you said to me, we live in the most
Yes. We live in the most. Oh, I said something clever.
superficial place on earth.
I did say that.
And that maybe,
I say so much, Dorothy.
and I actually listened to that, and that maybe occasionally we could do something
Good.
for other people.
Absolutely.
So we are doing this.
Radio show. But it is not just a radio show.
I know, I'm putting on my glasses so I can read. I was going to get cute glasses because where are your glasses?
Oh, I have them
you
here.
always have cute glasses.
It's too much on my head between the headphones, the earrings. You didn't even say anything about my dangly earrings. I never wear dangly earrings, and you said nothing. Why are you staring? You don't like them?
I'm unsure.
I'm heartbroken. These are made by the Ogallala Lakota Indians, and I got this in South Dakota on the reservation on my way to Wounded Knee. Now, do you like them?
These my niece made, and her company's called 19 Pieces, and she's really cute. You were just because apparently you really took this. We live in a superficial place, and you do good. You take this very seriously because you just went on vacation, and you kind of turned that into a mission.
I did. I really believe that everywhere you can go in life, you can do some good. It's called travel with a purpose. It's what Dorothy and I do with all of the missions for Mending Kids. And then on my other personal time that doesn't involve Mending Kids, which is not a lot, then I believe during my
I'm so well trained.
I know. Then during my vacations, I believe you can seek out the good in every community you go to. So I went to see Mount Rushmore because I always wanted to do that as a kid. And as I was looking at the area and the monuments, I realized what was missing in all of my searches was any information on the Native Americans. So I sought out Pine Ridge Reservation, and I saw that they had a call to action. They need school supplies for their kids.
Why did you bring the zippers? I heard something about zippers.
I did bring zippers. So my call to action included social media. I put out a tweet and I said one of the things they needed zippers and sewing material for sewing class. So our friend Tina Hillstrom, who's a huge supporter of Mending Kids, screamed out on Twitter as only Tina could, I've got it. I've got zippers. I've got material. I have everything. So
Because she used to make a lot of dresses for us.
She did. They no longer fit me, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd be wearing one. But she packed me a huge bag to take with me. And so I delivered them to Wounded Knee Elementary School, and I had such a wonderful and meaningful talk with the principal there. So.
And I'm so glad you did that. I'm not ignoring you. I just somehow already screwed
Has
up.
my stoy grown tiresome?
I was in the chat room and I already screwed it up.
Who's being
Heidi,
honored?
what did I do?
Oh, you know what our producer's telling us? That Tina's going to be honored at our gala.
November 8th at our gala.
We love that.
What
are you doing,
All of a sudden
Dorothy?
I have Oprah and Deepak Chopra because I
No,
did that
they're not on the
meditation.
show.
I did that
They're
meditation
not
this
on the
morning
show.
and suddenly...
So what we want to tell you is that we're on UBN Radio. We've got a call-in number, and we've also got a chat room. So the call-in number is 323.
I'm trying to figure out the chat room right now.
I'm talking right now. The number is 323-284-7828, UBN Radio. And then we've also got a chat room. So just go to Channel 1, and you can post comments. Please be kind. Someone liked my earrings. And also, if you've got questions for all of our guests today, we can accommodate you.
Okay.
Are you there now, Dorothy?
Yes, Kelvington. Where did Dorothy go? I guess he doesn't like the Clark Kent glasses. Okay, next week I will get much cuter glasses.
Really?
Okay. Should we actually talk about Mending Kids since that was
let's
what we
do
were
that.
going to do?
Yes, it's
Okay.
all about doing good. Go ahead.
Yes, and we have Dr. Ferry here with us, who is a cardiologist at Children's, and a million other things, and also a board member, Mending Kids. And sometimes I get to sit next to him in the board meetings, and
But I tend to leave first.
because he's
Dorothy
always like,
stays
I have
till
lives
much
to
later.
save. Okay, I have to leave now.
I'm on call.
Good excuse.
Yeah, I got a phone call.
He's just bored at some point in a board meeting. But I was sitting next to you at our last board meeting, and Dr. Kolber
Yes.
was giving a presentation about Mozambique and the burn victims, and the pictures were the most horrendous thing I've ever seen, and you were almost retching. And I'm like, you're a doctor, for God's sakes.
I don't like blood that much. You know, I have to pace it. That's why I like ultrasounds.
Ultrasounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And EKGs. And
You know,
that
they're
kind of
using those now for beauty treatments. Do you know, can you do that for us?
thing. Should I know about it? Are you inferring that
He
I
usually
need
works
some
on a
ultrasounds?
different part of the body.
Okay. All right. Just, one unit, multi applications.
I'll try my machine on me when I get back to the office and see what happens.
Okay.
So you and I went to Ethiopia together.
We did, yes.
And people say, all right, you send doctors all over the world and they help children who have heart defects. And people think that that doesn't happen. Oh, we were supposed to show the video. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Wait, don't talk yet.
Don't
Did
say
you
a
say
word.
anything?
I can't get a word in edgewise.
Did you talk?
True.
I won't try.
Because I was supposed to first show
I'll
the
just
video.
wait till I'm
Your
asked.
fancy video was Sylvester Stallone. So let's
Okay.
show that first, and then
Please.
I'll pretend that we haven't met you yet, and I will reintroduce you.
Let's try that again.
I can't make a living doing volunteer work. I wish I could. I've probably been on 14 cardiac surgical trips for children in the last 15 years. I do these missions because if the trips don't go, these children don't get taken care of. One life saved is one life saved, whether it's in Ethiopia or Ecuador or Los Angeles. It doesn't matter. It's a child. These missions, they allow me and they allow anybody that comes with us to go to sleep at night knowing that we make a difference in the child's life. In one surgery or one procedure, they can really be transformed into new children. And it's really a great experience. So I do these missions because they're good for my heart.
Again, our previous record was 24 cardiac catheterizations in a week. This week, we'll do 31 cases. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. He hired
Not
me.
on pause,
He gave
right?
me my
It's not
first
pause.
job as a cardiologist.
Record.
He took me on my first mission trip to Guayaquil, Ecuador, and you know, he.
Gave you a job, bought you a barbecue as a housewarming problem.
That's right. Well, this is my best friend. We happen to work together, but he's my best friend.
I discovered over Labor Day, I don't have to go all the way to Ethiopia to do volunteer work. I can get the same good feelings from going over to Camp La Corazon too. You're one of them and they're one of you, and you're just in it together. You're the advocate, and you can kind of see them for who they are and not for what diagnosis they have.
Dr. Ferry, you're the man, no question about it. I mean, it's one thing to play Rocky and a fictional champ, but you are a real-life champ. We owe our daughter's life to you, and how do you repay that debt? Thank you.
We love you.
What a nice video, isn't that?
And look who's joining us, Dr. David Ferry.
What a surprise. Where did you come from?
How coincidental.
So you always hang out with the Stallones? That's just kind of a day in the life of...
Just every weekend, not during the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is adorable. Jennifer Flavin.
Jennifer is a wonderful person, a beautiful woman, and a fantastic mother.
She is, yeah.
Yeah, she's really a great lady, and the whole family is wonderful.
So when Sly Stallone says, we can never repay you, we owe you everything. What, without getting into the details of their personal life, although they've been very public, what does that feel like to know that you've got everything riding on this child in that one operation?
Well, I'm not the surgeon, first of all. It was Dr. Lax at UCLA and Dr. Trento, Dr. Starnes at Children's. But, I think they see me as being a bridge between her cardiac care in the hospital, and that we've known each other since she was knee-high to a grasshopper, like 2 months old or so. And just to be acknowledged by anybody, in particular the family of the Stallones, is just really quite an honor. But really, while it feels great and it feels wonderful, it's really what it's all about. And this is why we do it. And families don't have to thank us, because we get our gratitude from how well the children do, and how well they do in surgery, and then the ongoing relationship before and after that. It's really part of it is just taking care of the family, not just in the hospital, but also in the office and during the visits too. So
I'll never forget something you said to me on a Mending Kids mission to Ethiopia, and I know you were frustrated and upset, and you said these kids are half dead when they come to us.
Yeah.
They are almost.
Yeah, that's very different than working in Latin America, much less in the United States. I've done a lot of. I've been a pediatric cardiologist since 1985. So I don't know. I don't want to guess. I don't have my calculator with me, but how many years is that? Like 29?
A lot.
Yeah, enough. And we've done some volunteer work in Latin America, and that's been really great. And we've seen poverty there, but I have never seen the poverty like I've seen in Africa. Ethiopia is a country of 90 million people. Imagine 90 million, which is probably the population of the United States, west of the Mississippi at least, probably maybe even more east of the Mississippi. And they have 19 anesthesiologists for the entire country.
Yeah.
There's really one big hospital, and that's the one in Addis, and there's no coordinated congenital heart program for children. And if you don't have money, which very, very few do, the kids there, die of their heart disease after a prolonged period of one word that I used in the video. Maybe it was suffering. These children really suffer.
Yeah. And that hospital, if you've ever read that book, Cutting for Stone, that is the hospital.
It's on the campus of that hospital. I believe that took place, the Cutting for Stone book in Addis, I believe took place in what's called Black Lion Hospital, which is a hospital of 1,500 beds in the capital Addis. It's on the campus of a very good medical school. They train doctors there. It's basically the only public hospital of reputation in the entire country, but it's very, very minimal in terms of technology inside. People are really like laying on floors and gurneys and in the hallway.
That emergency room. I mean, there were just gurneys and bodies everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, if we, the medical care in the United States is not perfect, and we certainly have problems. But you go to a country like Ethiopia, there's really just nothing there for the people, unfortunately. And so, it's a really great experience. The medical education is great. The medical residents are fantastic. I gave lectures to the pediatric residents in cardiology, and I teach in a Socratic method in the sense that I ask questions and they answer me from the audience, and they got equally good scores in my mind than medical students at UCLA and USC. So they train very well. But if you have education and you need to make money, which most people do in life, they leave their country, which is very poor, and they go to Europe or the United States. So
do you see different types of heart disease there that you might see here? What's the difference?
That's a good question. First of all, we see a lot of heart disease in Ethiopia because there's just no treatment. So they just accumulate, whereas children here would have been fixed years ago.
Right.
The same
The kids
problem.
there are blue. Their lips are blue. Their fingertips
and we
are blue.
we get blue babies here, and they're operated upon or catheterized, and they're made better. But we just see what's called the natural history in Ethiopia. In other words, if we were to see the children and not operate on them, this is what we would be left with in the States. So there's many, many children, a huge population of untreated patients. And secondly, there are many of the common things that we see here, but the numbers are greater in Ethiopia because they're not treated. And we did see some weird things in Ethiopia that I don't think we would ever see in the United States.
Like what?
I saw echoes of a parasite inside the heart. I mean, it was almost like an alien, basically, in the middle of the heart, which was very bizarre. I'd never seen that. Some other things like what are called aneurysms or weaknesses of the wall of the heart, which look bizarre and we've never seen before, and apparently are common in Africa. So I think part of it is it's due to many things. One, I think, is that prenatal care is not very good, and because the prenatal care is poor, the fetus doesn't do as well.
Are you talking about nutrition? I mean,
I'm talking about nutrition. I'm talking about probably exposure to toxins. I'm probably talking about mothers not taking vitamins like they should.
But even in this country, I mean, around the world, what is it, 1 in 100 babies?
A little bit less than 1 out of 100. About 8 out of 1,000 children have some type of heart disease. And that's data based upon the United States and Europe. And it doesn't really vary much. We don't know what it is in Ethiopia or Ecuador or other countries that don't really have a good database. In some countries, they don't even count anybody unless you make it to be a year of age.
Yeah, which is
Wow.
So if
many
you
of them
die at
don't.
6 months, you're not
you
in the-
never
you're not
you never
in-
existed.
You're not
Yeah.
in the database if there is a database. So, it's hard to know. It can't be any lower than 8 out of 1,000 in other countries that are stricken with poverty and poor prenatal care. And, maybe the mom and dad are related to some degree. And so there's some what's called consanguinity, meaning that they're related and their bad chromosomes kind of match.
I've never heard that word before. God, you're smart.
Consanguinity.
Okay.
With the same blood.
Put that in a tweet.
It's actually not that hard of a. It's not. That's one of the most complicated words I ever use. Actually.
Very fancy.
Yeah, I don't use too many.
So how about kids here? When
Yes.
when do you start seeing a child and realizing, oh my God, there's a heart defect?
Well, many scenarios fit that. One is if we're called into the nursery at certain hospitals to see a baby with a murmur. Now, a murmur is simply just some turbulence or noise inside the heart. So a newborn can have a murmur that may be due to a narrow valve or a little hole or just a normal noise. And one of our jobs is to figure out, well, what is it due to? Or the obvious ones, the babies are blue at birth, meaning that they don't have good oxygen and they need something, or they're obvious. And then sometimes we have 6 and 12-month-olds sent in for murmurs who just have some turbulence inside the heart from holes inside the heart or narrow valves. And then some things that typically aren't picked up until 5 or 10 or 15 years of age. We have children with Down syndrome. And Down syndrome babies have a higher incidence of heart problems compared to babies without Down syndrome. About half.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, but can you tell when the baby?
Go ahead and interrupt him. He's used to it. He knows me. He's
Thank
very
you.
used to it.
I was waiting for the interruption.
It's
Actually,
like,
I kept
well,
going.
they
on
let me
too
go
long.
for so long without
Are
saying
they paying?
something.
Is Dorothy paying attention?
You said earlier I wouldn't let you get a word in, so I was
Yeah.
letting you get a word in. I was checking
You
the
prove
chat
it- you
room, but I
prove
was
me-
letting you get a word in.
You proved me wrong.
Too funny. Can you tell in the uterus? Is there much that you can tell when the baby's in the uterus? In the
Sure.
womb?
Well, typically what is done, and I don't do them, but other pediatric cardiologists and perinatologists do echocardiograms, fetal echo. In other words, they take ultrasound to a degree higher, and they specifically focus just on the fetal heart, which you can see all 4 chambers around probably 16 weeks at least.
Amazing.
So before the baby's a couple inches long maybe, and the heart's very small, you can kind of get an idea that, yes, there's 4 chambers there. The details you might not be able to see. And sometimes you pick up major defects at that time.
But these are
Sometimes-
things that no one really has in developing countries. I mean, a lot of the equipment I don't know if on your mission, but on the mission that Dorothy and I went to Cambodia, they had to bring
Another
machines.
cardiac mission.
Another cardiac mission. They
okay.
had to bring in a lot of, I'll just call them machines.
Yeah.
They couldn't get started until the machines arrived.
Yeah.
And that tells you volumes, because my guess is if you can pack it up and travel with it, it's pretty portable, pretty accessible, and how sad it is that they don't have it.
Well, you're right. There's a lot of technology they don't have, but in some ways it doesn't matter, because who cares if you can diagnose something if you really can't treat it, right? So that why make a diagnosis with echocardiogram, for example, if you don't have the surgery or even the cath lab to do a procedure that'll make the child better.
I mean, these kids who come, they'll come 8 hours on a bus because there's
Sure.
no one anywhere who can do what you guys
No.
do. What happened on the last mission to Ethiopia? Some of your equipment didn't go through.
Well, Ethiopia, like any other country, has a customs program
Yeah.
where they want to know what's coming into the country. And yes, they want to help their children, but they can't ignore the equipment that comes in. I mean, it was difficult to get some of the equipment that we needed through customs. It got hung up for literally several days.
So
or a
you guys
week.
were kind of waiting around.
We were kind of drumming our fingers, waiting for the boxes to be released of equipment. And ultimately it was. And we made things work in the hospital there. It's a cardiac center, and they have some cardiac, this is on the campus of Black Lion, but a separate building that's well built together, but there's no program there because there's no there's no resident program in cardiac surgery in Ethiopia.
No, but come on, tell me what you did, because you got all your guys back here to kick in some money, and you all stayed.
Oh yeah, well, my associate Tim Caceres really he is my partner and my.
Oh, it was him. He was in the video too.
Tim was in there, and so he was supposed to leave. He got there with me, but was supposed to leave a couple days early, and he was so turned on by the time there that he had his wife Shanna drum up donations
while you guys were over
at their church and through their family to help pay for the airfare that we would need to change the ticket to get back. And because of his efforts and her efforts, we were able to do another probably 10 or 12 children.
Oh, that's
that would have been harder for me to do on my own, because as a team you can be much more efficient. So we ended up doing, in the week that we were there in the cath lab, which is where we put in devices and close holes and blow balloons up and open valves and basically do surgery without surgery. And that blood, it doesn't bother me, by the way. It's just the blood on the burn pictures. We were able to do about 31 children in 6 days, and
that's
so
crazy.
that's the country of 90 million. That's literally a grain of sand on the beach.
But you're teaching.
But to those families, and we're teaching, and those families that we touch their lives makes a huge difference. And my feeling is that children are children. It's not their fault they have heart problems, and whether we help a child in Los Angeles, and there's resources for that no matter what insurance they have or no insurance, or a child in Haiti or Ethiopia, it doesn't matter, because they're children, and it's not their fault that they're sick, and we want to be able to help them. So
We've got a call. Aren't you excited?
I am.
Thank goodness. Because
I don't know about Dorothy.
clearly, Dorothy, it's your
But
friend,
I
for
am.
heaven's sakes, and you're not even excited?
No, who is it? I don't even know. Clearly, you're over talking to us. Who is it?
Who is it? Who's the
Are
caller?
you talking to me?
Yes. Who's this?
Hey, it's Mimi. Hi, Dr. Ferry. How are you?
Hey, Mimi, I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Nice to hear your voice.
Oh,
Hi,
equally.
Dorothy.
All right, we're
Equally
going to
so.
show a picture of Mimi so that you can see, all our volunteers are stunning, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, you. I was just at a meeting with her this morning. Okay, so, Mimi,
Yeah.
without, or you can cry if you'd like, because you always make me cry when you talk about it. But talk about that last trip you took to Ethiopia with the illustrious Dr. Ferry.
Well, I actually learned quite a bit about catheter procedures.
Wait, so you went in the cath lab? Because you know what? He scared me. You
I
went in there?
did. I could actually handle that much better than being in the open heart surgery.
You know, it's funny when
theater.
I not that you saunter into surgery, but when you are out of the country and away from all the laws and restrictions here, the doctors on our missions will let you walk in and look at a surgery. And I sat through many a surgery, but I never went into the cath lab because you were too intense in there.
Why
I wouldn't
is
go
that?
in. I don't know. You made me nervous. I wouldn't go in there.
That was our first.
Well,
that was
you
our
really
first
have
trip.
to suit up. You have to wear your lead gowns to protect you from the x-rays and around your thyroid glands. And I really have to say that Dr. Tim and Dr. Dave are just rock stars for what they do. And that has to take so much of a toll to have all that stuff on you the whole time that you're operating.
It's hot.
It's like you're
Yeah.
working
and
out
it's-
while you're.
and it's heavy.
yeah.
These are heavy. Thank you, Mimi, for that. I appreciate it.
She said you were
and
hot. I
Tim
heard that.
Was,
I
he was
said I
so
was.
helpful in, sort of educating me about what was going on and showing us, I guess it's the how do you say that?
Oh, the
Dr.
angiograms,
Dave?
the angioplasties.
Yeah,
the
and
cardiac-
where the dye goes is where the blood flows, and you just see this X-ray light up on the screen, and you could see the lungs and the heart beating and where the blood was going. It was really pretty incredible.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, in that arena, we're able to do procedures that are as good as surgery without surgery, and these weren't available 20 years ago. But
So-
now we're able to do it.
Mimi, what was it like for you, just spending time with the kids and?
Well, I have to say, I mean, the doctors and the nurses are really the lifeblood of Mending Kids, and they're what, I'm in awe of. And it was really just a pleasure to be part of the team, supporting the doctors, but spending time with the kids was incredible, and meeting their parents. And they were all so excited as they came in, and I handed out coloring book pages and crayons and stickers.
Isn't it
made new
amazing
friends,
that these are kids who have probably never seen a coloring book
yes.
and they've never had a crayon?
And it's amazing how you can communicate even though you don't speak the same language. There was a little boy that was singing the ABCs, and he was counting and English, and he was pretty incredible compared to some of the other kids. But I also saw these kids with little tiny black teeth that, they didn't have dental care, and I know that's one of the things that the doctors are looking for. But despite those little rotted teeth, they had indomitable spirits, and they had smiles on their faces, and the parents were just so loving. And frisbees were flying in every direction. We all bonded, and what was incredible was seeing that experience from the very beginning until, then we'd go in after the kids had the surgeries, we'd go into the ICU, and the smiles are gone, and the hearts are a little bit heavy, and it's hard to see these kids that are listless. And a couple days later, they're downstairs, and they're starting to play again, and then they're going home, and their parents are just so joyful, and tears are running down their faces and our faces, and it was just an incredible experience to be there and see that whole cycle take place.
Mimi, what you said about how it's incredible to see the kids and their transformation, I was stunned by that as well. When we were in Cambodia, it was 5 days from the first day, the first patient we had, until, that patient was almost ready to go home, or at least was really walking around. I could not believe it. I get a cavity filled in and I can't function for days. And I was stunned.
God forbid I have to drive you.
Well, we'll be late.
Yourself.
We'll be late and we'll never get there. But I was so
annoyed that you saw me today because I like to hide from you so that you think I'll be late, so you panic. But please continue with your
May
story.
I? Thank you, Malibu Dorothy.
Please continue.
So I was astonished at how quickly the kids rebound.
Yeah.
In fact, the other thing I noticed, Dr. Ferry, and Mimi, stay on the line, is you could see in their faces, it's as if, and it's like the blood is back. They are alive. It's amazing. In just 5 to 7 days, their faces are fuller and richer, and the color, and you didn't realize that they looked all that sick until you saw them really well, for the kids who are not as obviously ill.
But
That's
that
the part.
one little girl, Momina, who I think was the first shot maybe in that video we
Yes.
showed, Momina, it's just her hand will be on my heart forever. Her father brought her in. He had 7 wives, I think, and he was interested in finding some more, I think, when he brought Momina in. And he has many sons, but this was his only daughter.
That's right.
She was maybe 5 at the time.
Yes.
And he carried this girl in, and she was so wrapped and covered. I think we have a picture of her. She's the most stunning. Okay, this is a little girl who I thought was going to die in the arms of one of our volunteers. As when she was brought in.
She was so sickly that
She was so
if you recall, she almost arrested with blood draws.
Yeah.
With the blood draw before surgery.
Yeah.
And so we meaning the doctors, the surgical team, medical team, were concerned that is she stable enough to have a total correction?
Yeah.
Which we could do if she was doing okay, but if she's that sick, maybe we should just do something to kind of buy time,
Yeah.
like a minor surgery. And Dr. Gopi decided, who was the surgeon that was on the team from India, decided to go ahead and fix her. And he, rolled the dice and took a little bit more of a risk, but, the payoff was huge because she did great. And so we saw her a year later upon our visit, and she was like a totally different child. And the dad, still was very, sedated
Flirtatious.
about things. Not towards me, but
He was looking for a wife, Dorothy. The flirtation
with some
was
of the other
towards you.
volunteers, he was a little flirtatious.
And certainly in the hotel's lobby, there were some women there too, late at night. But
That'll be in our next hour.
if it involved wine, that would have been me.
yeah.
But anyway.
But anyway, she was doing amazing, and that's not an unusual story. It's a bit dramatic, but there's many other children like her in that country and other countries who just don't have a program for
I
heart
remember her
disease.
dad trying to communicate with me because they speak 70 different dialects.
We had to have translators for translators.
70 different dialects. I mean, it's like the Tower of Babel. It's
We had to
almost
have
impossible in
we had to have
Ethiopia.
translators for translators.
And we had
'Cause-
kids there who were
Right.
former
Yeah, they were
patients who were
translators,
translators. But her dad was showing to me. He pointed to something blue. There was like a blue, I guess it was a bedspread. And then he was going like, and showing me that her tongue was now pink.
Right.
Because when she went in, it was blue. I mean, that was a child. And she's one of the most gorgeous children I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Not
Pretty
that
eyes,
matters.
pretty hair.
But she's out there tending to the goats
Yes.
in her village.
Yes, he came from 500 miles away, east towards Djibouti, in the
Yeah.
middle of the desert. Supposedly, I heard one story. He sold camels
Yeah.
But then I heard something else. He grew crops or whatever. But I mean, nonetheless, he was a man of like minimal means, but tremendous love for his daughter, and somehow made it in. And with the timing was right, it was meant to be. And so she was fixed, and she's doing great now.
I mean, think a child like that. Am I being overly dramatic if I say another day, another week, she would not have lived?
No, you're not. That's not an exaggeration. Someone like that could have a sudden. She passed out because she had so little flow to her lungs. Her oxygen level was so low. Any little stress. These children die of the sequelae of their heart disease. Like not necessarily the heart itself stops, but they have low oxygen level, or they're nutritionally very bad, and so they get diarrhea or dehydration or pneumonia, and then that's it. They have no reserve.
So I'm still curious, though, until Dorothy interrupted
God,
me.
Did you have a real question or
yeah,
something?
I had my
All right.
question. So how is it that in 5 to 7 days, these kids can look so radically different when they didn't perhaps look as ill as this child we just talked about? How is that?
Well, they, like you said, they establish their own normal, and so you don't really realize how bad off they are until you change something. And open heart surgery sounds like it's a huge deal. I mean, I'd still be in the ICU 2 weeks after heart surgery, but these children, even though they're sick from their heart problem, are so resilient that you improve their physiology, you improve the blood flow, and then all of a sudden they feel like they're 100%.
Yeah.
They're the most dramatic changes when you take someone with low oxygen levels who look blue, and they literally come out of the operating room a different color.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible to me.
They have a saturation of 95%, which is what we have. Their lips are redder than yours with the lipstick on.
Back to my lipstick again,
Right.
I see.
And they are very dramatic. They're dramatically improved immediately. In fact, I've had kids go who do not eat. They feel so bad when they don't eat.
Yeah.
And
I know, they're so tiny.
a 6-month-old, and they're skinny.
God, they're so
and
tiny.
you fix their heart, and the first thing they do once they're extubated, they reach for the bottle,
Yeah.
and they can eat. Yeah, it's that dramatic.
I remember one asking for M&Ms when she figured out what they were. Did we hang up on Mimi?
No,
we have
I'm
you,
having
Mimi.
you
I'm still
call
here,
her.
and I was thinking, Dr. Ferry wasn't. Oh, sorry.
Nah,
Wasn't
go
Sandra
ahead.
one of those girls that had the blue fingers, and you did the calf procedure, and then she needed the open heart surgery?
Yes, that sounds probably what we did was we did some pictures, and we found out from the pictures we weren't able to fix her or help her in the cath lab, so we sent her to surgery. Yeah.
And so who else do we have on the phone?
Sienna.
Hi,
Oh,
you.
Hello.
Aren't you in class?
She's cutting school for this, aren't you?
What a humanitarian.
Well, you know, at the UN, they call them philanthropines, and this is my favorite little philanthropine. Sienna Dugan, you are, there's Mother Teresa, and then there's Sienna Dugan, who is 16 years old and has gone on so many missions with us. Okay, we were just talking about Momina. You should fill us in on the rest of the Momina story because, okay, the first time I laid eyes on her, she was in your arms, and honestly, I thought she was dead because she had passed out in your arms.
I just remember, 3 years ago was my first time in Ethiopia, and she was carried in by her father, and I remember she was 2 weeks to walk, and I went up holding a little stuffed animal of a monkey and gave it to her, and I remember she was just so excited to see something, but at the same time she was way too weak to show very much emotion. Yeah. But I remember her father handed her to me, and I just sat there while the doctors were taking her vitals and held her in my arms.
How old are you?
16.
I was 13.
Wow, you were 13?
Oh my God, you little lifesaver.
That's amazing.
By the way, we were talking about Momina's dad and how he was interested in some of the volunteers, and I believe he wanted to make your mother his 8th wife. But as far as I know, that is not happening. I'm looking for that picture of you and Momina. Okay, and then there was, I can find this one, little Selena, who you're talking about, a kid who is up and running around the next day. Do you remember this one?
No, I don't.
Okay, she had a cow valve put in, right?
Who are you asking? Sienna?
Sienna.
The
Sienna, do you know?
13-year-old
Dr.
who was
Dr.
at the
Sienna.
time.
She's 16 now. She could,
knows these
she
things.
could be in
She's
there
a
with
huge
Dr.
part of the
Ferry.
team.
And yeah.
She is now. Yeah.
She could,
I believe so, yeah.
and so she was running around the hospital. We were all actually a little afraid of her because she was kind of large and in charge, even though I think she was 2. She had a cow valve put in, and wasn't she just running around the day after?
Oh, yes, there was no stopping her.
So what is it
Little
like?
fireball.
What is it like for you? Because you're a kid, and yet you're dealing with all these kids.
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I love just being there, and there's so much that I have that I just wish I could share with them, and if all I can do is help put a smile on their face, then that's what I'm there to do.
Your first time, were you kind of scared, or you were excited, or was it a mixture of both?
Well, I was definitely nervous getting there, and there's always a lot going on, and I wasn't exactly sure what to do, but
And that's without me there.
Oh.
That was prior to Dr.
I
Ferry.
just wanted to be able to, if I can make them happy and have whatever time they have there before or and hopefully after their surgeries, if I can make them just have a good time and be comfortable there, then, I don't know, it's all the little things that matter.
It's so incredibly cool to be able to go on one of these missions and to be a volunteer. But I think, because I mean, my main job, I always say, is to make sure the doctors have like toilet paper and M&Ms. I mean, I think that's, that is my job.
In that order.
But yes. Yeah. But I think I've seen you and a couple of other teenagers on these missions, and you guys jump right in with the kids, where I think with adults, I mean, I'm so happy to be there and play with the kids and pray with the parents and hold the parents' hands, but you guys jump right in a way that I don't know, we stand back a little bit, and there's no wall with you and the kids.
Well, and the other thing that was, this is Mimi, it was really fun watching Sienna and Allie with all the clothing donations, because they picked out the perfect clothes for each little girl and each little boy that was there, and it was painstaking watching them go through this process, but they got so much joy out of then taking the clothes and seeing the smiles on these kids' faces, and the same with the stuffed animals that they picked out for each child. So it was really special to see those girls and the way they interacted with the kids.
I'm just holding it up. Sorry, I should have gotten to this to you guys ahead of time and been all organized and that kind of thing. But this is Sienna and Momina, and this is when Momina was first brought in.
Put it a little higher.
Yeah.
How's that?
There you go.
And Sienna did so well. I have to hand it to you, Sienna. You've seen the trips from the beginning planning stages to trying to get organized, and you've seen us, and it's a lot of work, and she's been there and been helping out. And
she's a much better volunteer than I am, and I know that.
Yeah, well,
I know
she's
that.
probably better
No
than
one
you.
in this room is disputing that,
You
Dorothy.
don't have to say it. I know it. She's
Right,
much more
okay.
organized. She's more mature.
You took my thunder away from me. But you did a great job, Sienna, and she was helping us in the post-cath there.
I'm sure you let her in the cath lab.
Well, she didn't want to go in there. I could understand that, but I mean, because after she was busy in the post-op area, right?
Yeah.
You were busy with the post-ops and post-cath patients. You were helping us with that, so it was just really a pleasure to have you. And this is a great time for you to learn about this and experience it. So it was a pleasure. You and Allie did fantastic.
Sienna, what are you going to do when you grow up?
Hopefully go into medicine.
No.
That's
Yes,
wonderful.
definitely.
That's wonderful. Medicine is great for the right person, and I think you're the right person for it.
Well, thank you.
All right, thank you. Heidi's trying to tell me something. You're telling me to hang up on
We have
Sienna?
another caller.
All right.
Well, why can't we?
Sienna has to go back to class.
Bye,
I
Sienna.
love you.
I do. Okay, bye.
Okay,
Thank you
bye-bye.
so much.
Thanks for calling
Bye.
in. See you.
So cute.
Who's on the phone?
It's Isabel.
Isabel.
Hi, you.
Hello.
How are you?
We are all well here.
So Isabel Mejias Fox works for Mending Kids, has been on many of these different missions. And Isabel, I believe that your entire life has changed because I forced you. Where are you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the background noise. I'm at school. There was an early pickup, and my daughter, who is actually a veteran of the Ethiopia mission, is now getting into the car, and I hope she'll be quiet. So Yes, you
that's a
somehow held my hand up at a fundraiser, and I
Yeah.
bought myself a mission to China about 3 years ago.
I'm like, Isabel, you need to
And
do
the rest
this.
is-
And now, I mean, your entire life, I'm not taking credit for it. Your entire life has been changed. I mean, now you work for Mending Kids. You just got back from Haiti.
Yes, I got back from, prior to that, I went on a site visit to set up a cardiac program in Costa Rica that Dr. Ferry will help us with. And then we went to Haiti and did a general surgery mission in Haiti where we helped 75 kids in 6 days. And
What,
and now I'm getting ready to go to Mozambique.
85 procedures in a week in Haiti? For the love of
89
God.
procedures, 75 kids.
Oh, my God. All right. So give us a little idea of what Ethiopia is like for you.
Well, I wrote a blog about it. When you sort of land, it just feels like the birth of soul. It just feels the people are so beautiful, and whether you have an education or you don't, there's such a dignity about every person we come across. I think Dr. Ferry will attest to that.
Yes.
And it's just a very peaceful opportunity to serve people that are so very grateful for the little help they have in terms of cardiac care. And these kids that have endured so much for so long, and to be able to go there and do what we do is really it's an honor.
I remember this one little boy on my first trip there, David. They're so stoic because these are people who have nothing. And he never showed any emotion through open heart surgery until they ripped the tape off at the end, and that made him cry. But I mean, at that point, he was done. I mean, he was almost out the door. But when they took the tape off, he started to cry. That's the only emotion I ever saw from that child.
Yeah, they were very.
Yeah, those kids are so well behaved.
I know they are.
They're
much better than ours.
They're very reserved. They're respectful, very religious.
Yes.
And part of it may be that we don't speak their language, whereas like in Ecuador you speak Spanish, but I don't speak Amharic. Nobody on our team speaks Amharic, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very, very reserved, very, very noble, noble, quiet, peaceful people.
Isabel, I know that you're trying to coordinate picking up your daughter and everything, and we're so glad that you were able to call in. So thank you for that. We've got Tracy on the line.
Oh my God!
now.
All right, Isabel, I love you. We'll talk to you when we discuss Haiti in 2 weeks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Have a great show.
Bye-bye.
Tracy Coy.
Hey, Dorothy, Lucey. How are you?
Hi, yo. Okay, Tracy Coy's a teacher. She was my son's teacher for 2 years, and yet we still like each other. And she was my roommate in Ethiopia. And I think that you. Okay, what are you telling me?
2 questions in the chat room. Yes.
2 questions in the chat room. Okay, will you look at the chat room?
I already have. I'm ready to go. You talk to Tracy.
Okay.
I'm focused here, Dorothy.
Tracy, I can tell some really moving stories, like how you had your hair blown out before you went to Ethiopia, and you were so ticked when you got it wet in the shower because then you had to do your hair for the rest. So I mean, there are moving emotional stories that we could tell.
They are, but we don't want to make people tear up. I mean, I know the show's probably been so emotional already, so let's try to keep it to a minimum.
It's so interesting when you're in Ethiopia because the hotel we stay at, it's like what, $30 a night. I mean, you can imagine.
That's for the presidential suite.
Yeah. And
it was a bargain.
And the water is from a stream, a natural stream, so you never know what temperature it's going to be.
Or if there'll be some fish in it.
And depending on what side of the hotel you're on one side you hear the chanting, the people chanting that starts at 4 a.m, and on the other side you hear the lions that are still roaming out there somewhere, or you hear Tracy snoring.
Inside you hear the show tunes.
Yes, or Tracy snoring.
Oh,
Anyway.
wait a minute. You snore, Dorothy, so don't put it on Tracy right now.
Yeah.
Don't
You
even
didn't hear
call her
a thing
out
from
on
me.
this.
My snoring is
I
very
got your
cute.
back here. I got your back here.
Because I roomed with Anna in Cambodia. I've been told my snoring is very cute.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right.
Tracy.
Like a kitten. It's just like a
It's
kitten
true.
purring.
And she snores on her stomach. Who snores on their stomach, curled up and then purring. It's the weirdest thing
It does
I've
sound
seen.
adorable when you say it.
It's adorable. It's pretty cute.
It does sound adorable.
Yeah, it's something like that. Exactly.
So, Mrs. Coy, which I called you for all those years when you were
Yeah.
Nash's teacher, can you talk to us a little bit about your experiences in Ethiopia? You can either talk about the bar late at night, which Dr. Ferry referenced very quickly, or
Tracy, now come on, we're all friends here.
you can talk
You
about
know what? I just feel so privileged to be a part of Mending Kids and to have been able to have gone on the trip. It really changed my life. It did. I met the most amazing people, the Ethiopian people, the teams of doctors. We really just, I felt like, bonded, and they changed our lives. Again, it's like we go over there to try to help and change their lives and make a little bit of a difference and do something. But honestly, I feel like it just changed me forever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, where am I calling?
Oh, who's this?
Is that? Excuse me.
Is there
Somebody else is piping in.
Who else is on the line?
Who do you think it is?
Oh my God, it's Juan. Where in the world is Juan?
Is it Juan?
Well, it is.
Oh my God, I win! I recognize the voice. How are you? Juan Ramirez, a great volunteer and my buddy from Cambodia.
Yay! Actually, Juan Ramirez is very sleepy. It's only 7 o'clock in the morning in Australia.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm seeing the sunrise coming up right now and talking to you guys. Life is really good.
Oh, you're such... You see, the great thing about these missions is you meet people that you would maybe not ordinarily ever run into in your life, and then you're put into this position where you spend an intense amount of emotional, intense, intimate time with them.
That's for sure.
And you become friends with them.
Yes.
Juan is
definitely.
one of my friends.
That is actually an understatement. The people that you meet on these missions, the quality and the time that you get to spend together, unbelievable. It's just an experience that I wish everybody would have at least once in a lifetime.
I don't think I've ever gone on a mission without you, Juan. You've been on every yeah. Because Juan, can we discuss what you do in real life while you're in Australia?
I'm about to throw a brunch party for 121 of my closest friends. How about that?
Okay, very good. We'll leave it at that then. Juan, man of mystery.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to go to Melbourne and just Melbourne and back, which is really quick flight right now. So I work for a major airline and this is my life.
And that's a way that I've gotten to go on a lot of these missions. If you go with someone who works for a major airline,
right,
you can fly with them for a companion pass for a very inexpensive ticket. And thank you, because that's why I've gotten to go on so many of these missions.
And we never have a dull moment, do we?
Oh gosh, no, never.
It's all about saving lives and then a lot of red wine at the end of the night, I think, isn't it?
And some drama sometimes too.
I think you're jet lagged, you're tired. Hey Juan, it's Dr. Ferry. You're jet lagged, you're tired, and it's like your defenses are down, which is probably a really good way to get to know people. It's like you put that other junk, you check the other junk in some other part of your life and just get to know people. And this is all what it's about, is taking care of the kids. Nothing else matters. What you drive or where you live or what your degree is. It's just a matter of the children. That's what's it kind of
exactly. And actually, what I found out lately is that I'm actually opening up to more people, more strangers on flights, because there's always someone who either has done it, will do it, or can help in some way. And that's my trick. I'm trying to reel people in.
Oh, good. You solicit donations for Mending Kids, because I'm not good at that part.
And the thing is, the children, the children don't have egos either. They don't care who you are, if you're famous or infamous. The kids just want to be helped, and so, it's just easy to help them that way because they don't have any prejudgments.
Yeah.
Until they get older, like us.
It is amazing what a little child can do with just a smile. They don't have anything. Just a balloon will make their day.
Yep.
Yeah, because these are kids that have absolutely nothing, and whether or not they know it, their parents know that they're facing death.
Mm-hmm.
And just by the grace of God, or the luck that you happen to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We would have patients, when we were in Ecuador, we would have patients that would come from the Galapagos, the islands, to see us, and we would say, we can't see you today, we're too full, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll see you in the morning. We open up a clinic at 8 o'clock in the next morning. They will sleep on the street to be first in line to be seen the next day, and we may be busy and we may have to see them in the afternoon or cancel the next day.
Yeah.
But they're really committed to their children. They really love their children. They love their children as much as we love our children. And they want the best for them.
Well,
and not only that, every mission is different, and every child has a different story. That when you get to know that story, my God, every mission for me, it's life-changing experience. Every time I go on a mission and I think I'm already a seasoned volunteer, I just come home and cry for a day because it's just unbelievable.
I think it's important to understand too, and it sounds like we do, that everybody's equal on the teams. I mean, there's doctors and nurses, and we get more involved in the medical stuff. But we couldn't do this without the support of everybody else. You at the table, you on the phone. We're all equal in this, and you can all go to bed at night knowing you make a difference, in the world, and that's what it's all about. Each and every one of you, Allie, and Juan, and Tracy, and everybody, Sienna, we're all part of it.
And I think this is the part where we're supposed to solicit donations. You know what? Go to mendingkids.org. Just look at what we do. And when I say we, I mostly mean him. But look at what we do. And, if you want to give $5, if you want to go on a mission, anything helps to change and even save a life.
Yeah, there are trips every month. They're not all cardiac, very few. The only cardiac one is, besides, I think, Ethiopia, is maybe Nicaragua, but it's all children. They're general surgery, plastic surgery, burns, like you mentioned. They're every month there's a team going somewhere to help some children.
Yeah.
And there are lots of ways to help, too. I mean, you can help out with getting things together for the missions, like you need donations of clothing and toys. And I remember carrying a giant duffel of Pedialyte. You never know what you're going to be asked to carry.
Yeah.
And so you're just,
Or if you have relatives and they're going to Panama, you have a relative in Panama City, they might be able to help out with coordination at that end, because that's really necessary. I mean, there's many different ways of helping besides donating.
Yeah. That's important. So we've been talking about the chat room.
Oh my gosh!
So there are some comments, even though Dorothy hasn't been paying attention. Oh my gosh, that's
lost
one
my
of the
chat
comments.
room.
Dorothy,
I wasn't paying attention
yes,
to the
it says
chat
here,
room?
quote, Dorothy not on point is sort of what she's famous for.
Ooh.
Now, I'm sorry, I had to.
Was that from you?
Did I write that? I didn't have time. Maybe it was Juan. Actually, we do have a question. One of the folks in the chat room is asking, what can she do early on to prevent any kind of a heart disease?
That is a really good question.
It is for her baby. What can you do either right before you get pregnant or while you're pregnant?
Well, I think I think the dice are rolled right at conception, basically. So the important thing is that some things are genetic and they were determined right at conception, like Down syndrome or not, and that you have no control over. And the other would be just really, really good prenatal care. Take your vitamins, avoid drugs, avoid alcohol. Alcohol causes problems with the fetus. Many drugs do. Just live a good, clean life, and do the best you can during pregnancy, and that's the best you can do. And even with that, there's inherent risks of having children. There's no guarantee, but that's for the best thing. And then I think as they get older, just emphasize a good, healthy diet, lots of exercise, minimize the video games, and talk about health repetitively as you all get older together. It's a family thing. It can't be one person.
Because we're always trying to sort of put ourselves out of business. I know everywhere you go, you teach.
Yes.
You teach the local doctors.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that's all we can do. There's no
magic.
Where's
the magic, doctor?
It's life. That's life. There's no guarantees in it. It's going to happen, and just a lot of it is not so much if it happens, and it will happen to some people. It's just how do you adapt to it? How do you cope with it when it does happen? And that's obviously very important. So how do you deal with it as a parent? How do you have to have a good relationship in your family and have a good relationship with your doctors and nurses? And, thankfully, most children with heart problems, at least in the developed countries, do well. No matter how extensive it is, they ultimately do fine. And that's our goal, is to be able to have them go to kindergarten and go to school and play soccer. But that's where they're not able to in these other countries. So.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a thank you from Jenny in the chat room for answering the question. Thank you, Dr. Ferry.
Was I on point?
Apparently so, because Jenny says thank you.
Unlike some other people here.
Oh, you people who stay on topic. Honest to God. Are there any other questions? Because I lost my chat room. I have Twitter now, but I lost my chat room.
Really?
Yes, you're my assistant now. But
apparently so.
Any other questions?
I quit. I'm done with you.
Well, you're almost done. I think we are almost done, aren't we?
How much time
Are there
do we
any
have
other
left?
questions? So maybe we could get some actual information out.
Well, actually,
I'm just thinking.
One person in the chat room had a question. They had not heard about a correlation of increased heart disease and children with Down syndrome. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So Down syndrome is a problem with the chromosomes where there's an extra 21 chromosome. There's pairs of chromosomes. There's extra number 21, so-called trisomy 21. So about half the children with Down syndrome have heart disease of some sort.
Wow.
And about half of those, or a quarter, have a very serious kind of heart problem that requires a lot of surgery, extensive surgery, around 3 to 6 months of age. So sure, Down syndrome definitely. Now, half babies with Down syndrome have a normal heart, but half, or maybe 40%, have something that needs to be followed by a cardiologist, and some section of that require surgery. Yes, and other syndromes do too. Like there's Williams syndrome, Noonan syndrome, fetal alcohol syndrome. Mom drinks a lot of alcohol. That's what's called teratogenic. That's another big term meaning that the embryo is affected with its development, and organ systems go wrong with alcohol, including, but not limited to, the heart. But Down syndrome is the most common chromosome abnormality that we see. I'm sure not just in cardiology offices, but pediatric cardiology offices, but also just in the general population. So.
What's just the greatest joy of what you do?
Oh.
Besides talking to us?
Besides having your company?
That was going to be high on his list.
I think just knowing that, in our own way, I'm lucky. I'm a pediatric cardiologist. I'm a doctor. I can be involved in children's lives and make a difference and feel part of it, like I can really make an impact. And I use the phrase, go to sleep at night knowing that you make a difference. I had one girl who I can maybe share that, she was in the hospital for a 20-year-old I've known since she was a baby. She's had open heart surgeries, 3 or 4 of them. Her heart's starting to fail. She was in the hospital for 112 straight days.
Oh my God.
Imagine a 19-year-old. She can't worry about going to the prom. She can't worry about the basic things that teenagers should. And on the 113th continuous day of hospitalization, she got a heart transplant. Oh. And now she's doing well. So it's like that's sort of, that's what you work for, is that they have a normal life. So that's what I get joy from, is just knowing that they can be kids. Mm-hmm. They can be teenagers. They can worry not about their heart, but they can worry about the prom.
All the stupid stuff in life.
Yeah, all the little stuff, which
all
is
the stupid stuff that's
the
important.
part of which is the joy. We take it for granted,
yeah.
But they don't. So that's what I like, to be able to help them worry about the stupid stuff. That sound good?
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that sort of makes sense.
It's your mission to help them enjoy the stupid stuff in life.
To be able to worry about it. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
And the nice thing that you said about helping someone else, going on a mission, or whatever you do to help someone else, you forget your own stupid stuff. You get out of your own head and you forget your own crap.
So before we go, we want to show a videotape because it really brings to heart what we're talking about here.
This is Miaza, a typical 3-year-old girl who loves playing dress-up. But what makes Miaza different is that when this beautiful photo was taken, her heart was failing and she was dying. This is Miaza after her successful, life-saving surgery performed by Mending Kids International. For just $20, you can help save the lives of more kids like Miaza, who would otherwise fade away. To save a life today, I urge you to call the number on your screen or donate at mendingkids.org.
that little girl, Miaza. Did we hang up on Juan? Because I believe he actually, yeah, okay.
No, he hung up on
Juan
us.
in Sydney actually took those pictures of Miaza. And I have to say, that little girl in Ethiopia had the most difficult night I've ever seen a child go through.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call that the role that the child does, the death roll, and they have another name for it.
I don't know.
What
What are you describing?
She like a crocodile roll or something. I've heard she was in bed and she was. I mean, they knew that this child was circling, and yet
about to pass. You mean?
Yeah, and this was after surgery. The surgery was a success, but thank God that little Miaza.
She made it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's alive and well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did anyone recognize the voice on that PSA? It was Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mel's been very involved with Mending Kids from the beginning.
Yes.
From the beginning. Mm-hmm. He has a lot of fancy friends. Sylvester Stallone, Mel.
You do. Yeah. It's so L.A.
And you, yeah.
That's it,
well,
and me, that's it.
Yeah, it's unavoidable. They're very helpful. I mean, they have resources that can help us help children without, and that's what they enjoy, I think, too, that they can contribute in many ways.
Yeah, and if you like at all what we do, 90 cents of every dollar goes to helping kids. It's a pretty damn good organization.
Yeah.
So I told you to yell stuff out. You can yell out what?
99? What?
No.
Oh, here. Don't you love it when we argue in real time? It's like a real family.
No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not.
Somewhere between 90 and 99. we don't pay him anything, but we do have to pay the staff something, right? Yeah. He's a volunteer.
No, I don't get paid anything.
That's the amazing thing. People probably don't realize that the doctors and all of the other the entire medical team volunteers their time. They take their vacation time to do that. Yeah. And there are doctors flying in from all over the world, not just from the United States. That's pretty amazing that you assemble an entire surgical team, the team that gets there beforehand to do all of the diagnosis and making sure you connect the right child with the right surgeon. It's incredible that this gets done. And then the volunteers like me who schlep the Pedialyte.
We need the Pedialyte.
All right. It's been a wonderful hour. Thank you so much, Dr. Ferry. Nice meeting you.
Isn't he fun for a doctor? I mean, he's kind of fun.
As doctors go.
As doctors go, yeah, you're fun.
I'm not as dry as other ones.
This one's got a personality. Yeah. Thank you guys so much, and we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk more about Mending Kids.
We will, and thank you to UBN for hosting us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of hell. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBN Radio.